Hi, I'm Mariana and welcome back to another episode of GH Stitch Club. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a granny square, which is probably the first thing you think about when you think about crochet, but we have a couple of really cool granny square patterns, and today I'll be showing you how to make the square for our super granny square scarf that has pockets. So let's get started. So to make our granny square scarf, I'm using Caron Simply Soft yarn. I have you can use 3 or 4 colors. I am using a pair of scissors, a 5mm crochet hook, a darning needle to weave in the ends, and a stitch counter to help me keep my place. For this pattern, you can see that the center starts off being a circle, and then you work a square pattern around it. And this particular square has 4 colors, but you can use 3 or 2 and mix it up in your scarf. To start your project, I'm using this charcoal color to create the round center section of our granny square. So just make a slip knot, slip your hook through, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you have 4 chains. You don't count the loop that's on your hook. And we're going to connect this into a circle with a slip stitch. So just insert your hook back into that first loop, yarn over, pull through that first loop, and then pull through the loop that's on your hook. And now you have a teeny tiny little circle that we are going to double crochet into. So to start, you'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and this will act as your first double crochet. And at this point, I'm going to just mark this with my stitch marker so that I know that this was my first double crochet. And you don't count the loop that's on your hook, you count the loop that's right below it. So that's the loop I'm going to slip my stitch marker onto. And then to double crochet, you just loop over your hook, find the middle of that ring you made, insert your hook into the center, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over once more and pull through the remaining 2 loops on your hook. And then you have your second double crochet. The chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. And we'll just continue in this way until we have a total of 12 double crochets on our original ring. So now we have 12 double crochets all the way around that center ring, and we're just going to join where your stitch marker is. So you can remove your stitch marker, and we join with a slip stitch. So you insert your hook into that top loop where your stitch marker was, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through once more. So now we have our first ring of our granny square. For the second row, we're going to increase, so we're going to double crochet twice into each chain. So to begin, we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that again counts as our first double crochet. And I'll just put my stitch marker on to remind myself where I am. And then you'll double crochet again back into that same chain. So yarn over, insert your hook right here, right below that chain you just made, pull through, yarn over, and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over once more, and pull through to create your second double crochet. Now you can see this space between the next 2, you can see a chain and then a space. That's where we're going to double crochet into twice. So yarn over, insert your hook into this next space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's our third double crochet. We're going to double crochet once more into that same space. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through the remaining 2. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets in our ring, and we're just going to continue creating 2 double crochets in each space all the way around until we have 24 double crochets. When you come to the end of your row, you just join it with a slip stitch right where your stitch marker is. So remove that stitch marker, insert your hook into that loop, which is at the top of your first double crochet, yarn over, pull through that first loop and pull through the loop that's on your hook. So now we have 2 rows for the center of our granny square. And we're going to chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3. I'll place my stitch marker. And this is the beginning of our 3rd row. So for our 3rd round, we're going to be working in sets of 3. So we have our first, this chain acts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet twice more into the same spot. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 2 double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook back into that same space, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through those last 2. So now we have 3 double crochets into that first chain space. Now we're going to chain 1, and you can see the second space here, we're going to skip it, and then we're going to create 3 double crochets into this 3rd chain here. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through, and create 2 more double crochets into that same space. Then you'll chain 1, skip that next space, and chain 3. You'll create 3 double crochets into that second chain space from your hook. And you'll just keep going around your circle in the same way, creating 3 double crochets into the same space, chaining 1, skip a space, and then create 3 double crochets into the following space. So now we've come all the way back around, and I'm creating my last 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And we'll just join again at the top with a slip stitch where that stitch marker is. So remove your stitch marker, insert your hook into that top loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops on your hook. So now we've created 3 rows, and again, we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, place your stitch marker. And this time around, we'll crochet 3 double crochets into the same spot like before. 1, 2. Okay, so now we have 3 double crochets into that same spot. And this time we'll chain 2. 1, 2. And then you'll see on the row below 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and we're going to double crochet 3 times into this space, this next space. So you can see as you go around your circle, there's a cluster of 3 double crochets, a space, 3 double crochets, and a space. So we're going to be crocheting into this space in between clusters from the previous row. Sounds a little complicated, but once you start doing it, it's very simple. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook into this large space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2, and that's our first double crochet of 3 into that second space. So you'll just continue this way all the way around. Okay, so we've come all the way back around on our 4th row, and we're going to join at the top one more time by just creating a slip stitch into that top of our first chain. And this is the end of our first color. So to end this color, you'll just yarn over your hook, pull through, and break your yarn, and just pull that yarn all the way through. And what I like to do is kind of weave it in and out along the top a little bit, and we just want to end on the back side. And you can tell this is the back side, this is the tail where we first started, and this is the front side. It just looks a little bit different. This is our 5th row, and in this row we're going to kind of create the corners of the square. So this row will be a little bit different than the rest. So to join our second color, we will make a slip stitch and insert your hook. And then you'll just insert your hook into this space in between clusters, yarn over, and pull through that loop on your hook. Tighten it a little bit. Then we'll chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place your stitch marker. And this is a personal preference. I like using a stitch marker, but you don't. You definitely don't have to. This chain 4 will act as our first treble crochet. So to create a treble crochet, we're going to treble crochet 3 times into this same space. So to treble crochet, you'll yarn over and yarn over again, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over one more time, and then pull through the first 2 loops on your hook, 1, 2, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook, and that's treble crochet. So again, yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops, 1, 2, and then yarn over one last time and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. And then you have 3 treble crochets in that one space. Because we're creating a square shape now with this 5th row, we're going to chain 1 and then double crochet into the next space. So 1, we're going to create 3 double crochets into that next space. Then we'll chain 1 and create 3 double crochets into the next space. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 1. And we're going to make our next corner. So we're going to be creating our treble crochets into this next space. So we're going to treble crochet 3 times. That's 1, 2, okay, so now we've created 3 treble crochets in this space, and we're going to chain 3 to make the corner. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll treble crochet 3 more times into the same space. So 1, 2, 3. And so now you can see that we're starting to really make this square shape. You can see our first corner has taken shape, and we'll continue this way all the way around. All right, so we've come all the way back around and we're ready to do our last treble crochet back into that spot where we first started. So we've chained 1 and then we'll treble crochet 3 times into that starting spot. And this will create the last part of our corner. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So then we will chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch back where your stitch counter is to join in the round. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, and now you can really see our square starting to take shape. So it has corners now, and we're going to work one more round in this gray color, but this was the only row that has treble crochets in it. So now as we continue, it's all just double crochets. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and place your stitch marker. Again, this counts as your first double crochet. Then you'll double crochet 2 more times back into that same space. And then we'll just keep working around, doing clusters of 3 double crochets into each space with a chain in between. So we'll chain 1 and then double crochet 3 times into this next space that you can see here. And we'll just work our way around until we get to the next corner. So now we've worked our way back around to our corner. So here we will chain 1 and then double crochet 3 times into this space. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll chain 2 to create that corner. So 1, 2, and then we'll double crochet 3 more times back into that same space, just making the corner similar to the previous row, but we're only creating double crochets this time. So now you can see our first full corner is made here. So this was our 5th row and this is our 6th row here. And so we'll just keep working around the same way, chaining 1, double crocheting 3 times into this space to make the next side of the square. So now we've come all the way back around to our first half corner, and we just chain 1 and then you'll double crochet 3 times back into that first space to create the other half of your last corner. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll chain 2 and connect with a slip stitch to end this row. So remove your marker, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. And now we're done with our second color. So we're just gonna cut the yarn and pull through your yarn through that loop. And we'll do the same thing that we did on the first color, just kind of like weave it back and forth to secure it a little bit. When you come back around and do your next row of color, your next row will also act to hold that tail yarn in place. And then we'll weave in the very last little bit of this tail, the darning needle at the very end, which I'll show you how to do. So just pull out your third color and you'll create a slip knot. Slide your hook through that, and then it doesn't really matter which corner, but just pick one of these corners. Insert your hook into that space in the corner and pull through your yarn and tighten it a little bit. And then we'll chain 3 to create our first double crochet and place our marker. And then you'll continue in the same way that you did the last row. So you'll create 3 double crochets in the corner. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then chain 1 and double crochet 3 times in the next space. And you'll just keep going all the way around, just like how we did the last row. Create double crocheting 6 times in the corner with a chain 2 in between. So double crochet 3 times in this space. And then we'll chain 1 and keep going. Okay, so now we're back to where we need to create our first corner, first full corner. So just chain 1 and we will double crochet 3 times into this corner space. And then chain 2 again to make a corner, and then double crochet 3 more times in the same space. So each corner will have a total of 6 double crochets and a chain 2 to join them. So we've double crocheted 3 times, chain 2, 1, 2, and then double crochet 3 more times back into that same spot. So 1, 2, 3. And you can see our corner starting to take shape here, and you'll just work all the way back around until you get to where you started, where we'll join our first row, our first purple row. So we've come all the way around and we're ready to make that last corner of our purple row. So you chain 1 and then double crochet 3 times into that first spot where we began, so that in the end you'll create a total of 6 double crochets into this corner. So that's 2 and 3. Then you'll chain 2 and use a slip stitch to connect to that first cluster of 3 double crochets. So move your stitch marker and just slip stitch to join. And now you've got your first purple row, which I love this color so much. So you'll create 1 more purple row and then we'll switch colors for the last time. So now we've completed our second row of the purple color, and we've broken our thread and woven in the tail a little bit. And you can really see our square starting to take shape. It's starting to look really good. So we'll join our last and 4th color, and I'm using the white all the way around my squares on the outside. So you'll just create your slip knot, insert your hook into a space in the corner, yarn over and pull through. You can tighten it a little bit. And then we're just continuing in the same way that we did the other rows. So we'll chain 3, and that will be our first, that will act as our first double crochet. Place my marker, and then double crochet 2 more times into this same space here on the corner. Then we'll chain 1 and create 3 double crochets into that next space. And we'll work this way all the way till we get to the next corner. And then you'll keep working in the same way all the way around, and you'll create 2 rows of this white color. So chaining 1 in between clusters of 3 and then double crocheting 6 times into the corners. We are almost done with our granny square. We're back around to the last row of our last color. So we're going to double crochet 3 times back into that last corner here. So chain 1 and then double crochet 3 times to complete this corner. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll chain 2. So 1, 2, and then slip stitch to join. And this is our last row. So we'll slip stitch to join here. And now we'll cut the yarn and just pull that tail through. And we can weave this tail in and out a little bit along the top. So let's just start from the center. And we'll take this tail, and you can kind of see the circle shape that we first started with. So I'm just going to thread our tail through that center circle here. And then you can clip it close to your work and it will disappear. And so you'll just keep working the tails in this way. We've already woven them in a little bit and created our next rows over top our tails, so they don't need a lot of weaving in. So now we've woven in all the ends and we're ready to seam our squares together. Thanks for watching our video, and click the link below to order your own kit to make your own super granny square scarf. And check out our other project videos on the Good Housekeeping YouTube channel.